Alright, hey you guys, my name is Dae'l. Welcome back to my channel. Over here we talk about all things womanhood, femininity, faith, beauty, and whatever else comes up in the conversation. Today I am going to share some things that highly feminine women tend to not do. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications because I post throughout the week, and make sure you're tuning in from time to time. And if you want to connect with me on other social media platforms, I'm always open to meeting new people, so don't be afraid to look in my description box below and find me on social media and connect. All right, so let's go ahead and now we can get into this video. All right, so I went ahead and created a list of 10 things that highly feminine women do not do. These are some things that I noticed I am really intentional with not doing, and I wanted to share this because these are things, like I said, that can apply to anyone, but when you are learning to fully walk in your femininity, you may be doing some of these things and trying to figure out why it's working against you or why you're not really able to step fully into your femininity. So the first thing that I have is feminine women do not speak down on themselves. Nobody should. Why is this important? It's important because you're belittling yourself, you're opening the door for other people to do the same, and ultimately it's just going to show and say that you have low self-esteem. When you understand who you are, you speak highly of yourself, even in knowing and understanding that you even have flaws. It's okay to see that you have certain flaws, that there are certain things that you would like to change and tweak about yourself or to improve, but seeing those things does not mean that you have to tear yourself down in order to build yourself up. That doesn't even make sense. That doesn't work. You have to build yourself up with the words that you're speaking. When you don't speak life into yourself, you're ultimately killing yourself. Okay, so we don't tear ourselves down. The second thing highly feminine women do not do is have entitled mindsets. I've noticed when it comes to living the soft life and femininity and, being posh and all this stuff, a lot of women really do feel like people just owe them, especially the opposite sex. They could live a life that absolutely sucks and they may not have money, they may not be able to really do for themselves, but then they start dating and expecting men to pick up the slack that they haven't even been willing to work on in their lives, and they're just looking for a come up. That's a very entitled mindset, and you want to make sure you're not doing relationships that way. No one wants to feel like they have to pick up for what you're not willing to work on. Like, you have to do the internal work. Nobody's responsible for your happiness, your deliverance, your joy, your peace, none of that. They're not even responsible for your bills unless y'all choose to make that type of agreement. I'm grateful for, what my husband does for me in my life. I'm grateful that he takes it upon himself to do so, but I understand that he has his own right to say he doesn't want to do something, and you have to be so secure in yourself that you're okay with people not wanting to do certain things. And if you're not, then you got to find somebody who is willing to, but never just expect people to do for you just because you feel like they should. Like, what have you proven? Have you proven yourself even worthy of that type of treatment, that type of care, that type of loyalty, that type of love, whatever it is that you feel that you're due? Have you proven yourself worthy from that person of receiving those things? Okay, one thing I've learned and that I understand and fully accept is that nobody has to do anything for me. The sooner you understand that, the sooner you accept that, the sooner you free yourself from putting people in positions that they really don't have to be in. It is a pleasure when people do nice things for us. It's a pleasure when they go out of their way to, bless us or to give us something or to simply text us and speak something nice to us, but nobody has to. So it's really important that you remain grateful for those that do, and don't try to terrorize people for not doing what you feel like people owe you. And another thing is, just because you do things for people does not mean that they have to do it for you. You end up in a place where you only do because you feel like you're going to get something in return, instead of just genuinely giving and allowing the Lord to be the one who repays you whichever way he desires to do that, whether it's through another person, whether it's just simply a blessing on your doorstep, however he wants to do it. But don't take the fun out of being a giver in your relationships And don't take the fun out of being given to. Make sure you understand that no one in this world owes you anything, no matter who it is. The sooner you understand that, the sooner you give yourself permission to be free of expecting everyone to do for you. So don't be entitled, because that's never a good look. It's not cute. I'm not saying don't have standards, don't have desires. That's perfectly fine, but just don't be entitled, okay? Another thing that highly feminine women do not do, that goes with the last point that I just made, is simply expecting life to just work for them. I know a lot of women who honestly just wake up and think things are just going to change just because they woke up, right? And the truth of the matter is, we have to put in work in order to live the life that we desire to live, in order to attain and achieve the things that we desire to attain and achieve. And it's really important that you understand that you're not going to wake up and roses just pop up on your doorstep, and you walk outside one time and you drop 50 pounds from that one workout, or you're laying in bed and you just do 2 crunches and now you got the body of your dreams. You have to put in work. If you want to make more money, you need to get a strategy and a plan and figure out how to make more money. If you want to be married, then you have to know that just going to church, work at home is not going to work. You got to get out there so that your husband can find you. It's not just going to just all come together. If you want your life to work, you have to put in some work. The next thing is, we don't belittle other people. We uplift one another. And one thing I've noticed amongst a lot of women who really do walk in their femininity and are comfortable in who they are, they don't like to throw little jabs. They don't take pleasure in tearing people down. They don't take pleasure or any type of delight in making people look stupid. They really do see the beauty in other people. And I know this doesn't apply to everyone, but those that are really comfortable in their identity and who God has designed them to be, they are comfortable with other people being themselves as well, and they do what's necessary to make sure other people feel uplifted when they're around them. If you find that you kind of try to find a pleasure in tearing other people down or making them feel stupid, you will really want to fix that, because that's not a characteristic or trait of someone who is confident in who they are. When you love who you are, when you know who you are, when you're comfortable in your own skin, you allow people to simply be. Even if they're not your most favorite person, you don't take pleasure in anybody being torn down or belittled. So this is something that is really huge. Women who are really confident in themselves, they don't compete or compare themselves to other people. I can speak for myself. Competition has never been something that I struggled with, or comparing myself either. That's just not something I've had to deal with. I've mentioned on other platforms that I was fortunate to grow up with my father in the same household for a few years, and my mother also, when they were married. And my father always spoke extremely highly of us as his children. My mother, the same. They never tore us down. They didn't cuss us out. They didn't belittle us. If we had dreams, ideas, aspirations, they pushed us into those things. And so I strongly believe that that's the reason I never grew up like comparing myself to my siblings, people outside of my home, people on TV, nothing. I just always loved who I was and embraced that and just chose to flow in that. But I do understand that some women really do struggle with this. And when you want to really walk in your femininity, it's really important that you're not comparing yourself to other people. Even when it comes to being a feminine woman, there's an array of what femininity looks like. It doesn't just look like me. It doesn't just look like, other women that you may see on YouTube or social media. It doesn't just look like people who you see in movies. Everybody brings their own touch to womanhood, and it's really important that you're not looking at the lives of other people to figure out how you're supposed to be or who you're supposed to be. These videos are cool. They're great. They definitely help just to help you, gauge and to take a better look at yourself. But it's important that you're not measuring yourself by me or the next woman or even your mother. It's okay to look at your mom as someone who, you know, you look up to, that you really do admire, but you are still your own woman even in that aspect. When it comes to my daughter, I definitely lead her and I guide her in the way that the Lord desires for her to go, but I never want her to be a spitting image of me. I want her to be who God has designed her to be. And so I teach her different things, I show her different things, I expose her to different things, I help her with her ideas, but all in all, it's more so of a guiding and not necessarily making a replica of Dae'l. So it's really important that when you do look at the lives of other people, you may see some things that you're like, dang, you know what, I would really like to build my confidence, or I do want to change the way that I'm dressing. I like their style and I really want to dress that way. It's okay to do that. Just make it your own. Put your own flair to it. Put your identity in it. Make sure it looks like you and you're not just simply creating another character of what you believe femininity is supposed to look like, or who you think you're supposed to emanate based off of what you see other people doing. It's really important that you don't compare yourself or even compete, because when you do compare yourself, you are going to end up in competition. We talk highly about collaboration over competition, but the truth is sometimes people only collaborate in order to be able to compete. So you have to keep that in mind too, and make sure you're simply keeping your eyes on your paper and riding in your lane. And if somebody is in competition with you, but it's not taking you off course, you are who you are, she's who she is, and it's okay to complement one another. So another thing that I have learned when it comes to being a highly feminine woman is not to dismiss my emotions or my feelings. And I've shared this on the podcast, She's So Soft, but it does bear repeating here. I grew up, you know, very sensitive, very emotional, but I remember for years I had made a vow that I was not going to cry anymore, and I wasn't going to, you know, show my emotions or my feelings. And I didn't realize until years down the line how much had been pent up, right? The Lord really had to go in and restore my cry. He had to restore my tears. He had to restore my laughter. I'm someone who loves laughing. I laugh at almost anything. Like, I'm going to laugh. That's one thing I'm going to do. If I don't do anything else, I'm going to get a good laugh in. And I also cry a lot. I'm very sensitive. And a lot of people don't really know that. I'm not just out here just crying over whatever. And I'm not saying that I'm, you know, easily moved or pushed, because I'm very unbothered. However, I realize I have a strong sensitivity, and it's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be emotional, but you want to make sure you have your emotions under control. You don't want to just be someone who is hot one moment and cold the next and just all over the place. Like, you want to have that in control, but it's okay to embrace your emotions. It's okay to embrace your feelings. God gave us feelings for a reason, and you don't have to dismiss them in order to act like you have it all together. It's okay to have moments when you're crying. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to get angry. The Bible speaks about being angry and not sinning. So being intentional with allowing yourself to feel that emotion, but making sure that emotion is not leading you or causing you to destructive behavior or tearing other things down. You have to be really intentional with how you are handling what you're feeling and the emotions that are arising and coming forth. Feminine women don't suppress. If you feel like you have to suppress yourself, you start becoming more masculine, and that's when you become hard-hearted, you become very resentful, you start neglecting yourself and other people. Even when you feel like you don't have a healthy outlet, it's really damaging. I've been there, and it hurts. It's not fun. It's not fun knowing that you want a good laugh and you can't laugh. It's not fun knowing that you need to cry and you can't cry, and that's honestly a lot of times where cancer comes from and other diseases in the body. So just be intentional with giving yourself an outlet. One thing that's helped me a lot is going to the gym. Going to the gym has been beneficial in more ways than one. Not just because, I'm able to get weight off and take care of my body that way, but if I'm angry or if I'm just feeling like emotionally, how sometimes you do feel emotionally unstable, going to the gym is a great way to let that steam off, get that smoke out, and just push. You'll find that your workout's a little better. You leave that gym feeling really good, sweating a lot and all. So really take the time to find an outlet. Don't turn to food. Don't turn to just scrolling on social media. Don't turn to gossiping. Find outlets so that you're able to not suppress and to express your feelings and emotions in a healthy way. It's really important. So another thing we don't do is just leave our house and our space any type of way. Keep your space clean. It really does matter to your mental. Your space is a representation of your mind, and your mind should be clear. It shouldn't be cluttered. It should be clutter free, and you can tell if your mind is clutter free by how your space is looking. That if you know that right now you're just not in that mental space, then ask your spouse, ask a friend to come over that you may know is really good at cleaning, and see if they're willing to come help you clean, or if they're just willing to clean for you. Even if that's hiring someone that can come in and clean for you. And to be honest with you, just a little tip, hiring a cleaner honestly is not that expensive. That's a luxury you can add for as low as like $20, $25. Or set some time aside where you're able to clean yourself, but do what's necessary to make sure your space is comfortable for you to actually live in. So this is one that I love to harp on because it's really, really important, and I notice a lot of women get caught up doing this. You don't just take care of yourself for men, right? In order to get a man, in order to keep a man, in order to make a man happy. Take care of you for you. Take care of you to glorify God, okay? Never just start living your best life or taking care of yourself to prove something to someone else, especially not to a man. Like, you know what I mean? I know a lot of women who start going to the gym and wear makeup and start taking care of their body and, you know, traveling the world, all in hopes of looking like something to a man or hoping they're attracting a man. Another example of this is women who go to church and start getting their lives right in order for God to bless them with a husband. I'm not saying that we don't go through processes where God's like, hey, I want you to go through this process because I am, you know, preparing you to be a wife, or simply I just want you to be better. What I'm saying is being intentional not to upgrade your life simply for the fact that you desire to be married or you're hoping to keep someone in your life. Take care of yourself because you deserve to be taken care of. Because what happens is a lot of times you'll see that women start doing the work, right? Let's say she wants to be with a certain man. So she starts doing the work that she thinks is required to get this person. And then when they get in a relationship, then she kind of like slacks a little bit, or she'll keep up that maintenance. And then as soon as they break up, she just kind of like loses herself. And she's like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. It's a waste of time. Or I've seen people want to kill themselves because they didn't get a certain relationship or somebody dropped them. And it's like, it's never that deep. You should never feel like your life is worth taking because somebody else didn't see the value of who you are. So you want to make sure you see your value, you understand your value, and you are pouring into yourself at that level and more, so that if someone else does see it or doesn't see it, it doesn't affect you. Like, you're still enjoying your life and you're living your life and you're taking care of you regardless of what's going on with other people. Another thing that highly feminine women do not do is fight with men. Okay? Not even other women. Like, we just don't have time. Okay? There's something my aunt used to tell me all the time, and she would say, you know, Dae, one thing I don't do is buck with no man. And I remember the first time she told me that, I'm like, buck with a man? And she's like, I'm not about to fight with a man. I'm not about to be in a brawl with a man. I'm not going back and forth. I'm not doing that. Y'all got other men out here to do that with you. And even with other women, I'm not doing that. Why? What's the purpose? Like, you're grown. It's time to grow up. It's time to come out of that. And you have too much to lose. When you understand that you have something on the table to lose, then you are really intentional with guarding that and protecting that and making sure you're not getting locked up over charges. You're not putting yourself in a position to be beat up on or to have to even fight. I know a lot of women who feel like they have that type of strength to where they can fight men, and because they've been told their whole life they know how to fight, and they beat up some other, you know, teenage boys when they were teenagers, or even other men that may have just not had that type of strength. They feel like they can fight with any man, and it's resulted in them losing their life. I know someone personally who lost their life because she felt like she was, you know, strong enough to go against a man, and she would intentionally taunt this person. Like, I used to see it, right? You have nothing to prove. You don't have to stay in situations where you're getting beat up on, nor should you ever feel like you can go head to head with the man or toe to toe with the man. You may be able to, but why would you want to? Like, I am just too precious to be getting hit. And the last thing that highly feminine women do not do is to live in survival mode. Listen, you want to thrive in life. You want to enjoy your life. You want to live a life that is going to require work. You're going to have to be processed. You're going to have to endure different things. But I have learned that being in survival mode is so draining. It is so draining. You don't want to live in such a way where you're constantly just, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to figure out, how you're going to get your child here to here, figuring out how you're going to make ends meet, how you're going to get your bills paid, how you're going to, wake up and finally be in a place of peace. Like, you have to really be intentional with establishing some type of order in your life to where you start to flow, to walk in a place of ease. And it requires work. It really does. Going back to that step, like, things are not just going to come to you. You have to put in the work. As long as you have like an entitled mindset, or you feel like life owes you, you will be in a place of survival. Or if you live like a woe is me type of life, where you're always a victim, or you just simply will not put the instructions into play that God gives, you're going to be in a state of survival. And in order to come out of survival, you have to learn how to flow. What is God telling you to do? Is he saying, hey, listen, I need you to get up at 7:30 consistently every day for 30 days. When you get up at 7:30, I need you to get up, go straight to the bathroom, brush your teeth first, get in the shower, rest, and then I want you to pray for 5 minutes. But you don't follow those instructions. And so you're trying to figure out why you keep hitting a wall. It's because you're not following the initial instructions that the Lord's giving you. Simple instructions. When you're feeling prompted to try something new, go with the flow and try it. The worst thing that can happen is maybe you missed it and you got it wrong, but at least you tried, and the Lord redirects you to the thing that you should be doing. But step into that place of flow in your life so that you're able to enjoy your life and come out of survival mode. Imagine waking up every single day, fighting against the flow, right? You're in a current every day, but you're going against, the flow of the water. It's like, dang, you got to just flow. Get in the raft and just flow wherever the water takes you. These are some things that will really help you to embrace femininity and step out of that masculine state that you may be living in, or feeling like you always just have to be defensive, always have to compare yourself, always have to tear people down or yourself down, always have to survive, always have to belittle people. You have to drop those things in order to start walking in your femininity. Let go of the things that are working against you becoming her and you being her, and embrace your femininity, because when you do, you build more confidence, your self-esteem grows and it skyrockets. You see the beauty of other people, you're not as bothered, you allow life to just simply be, and you begin to enjoy it a lot more because you're living and operating by design. So I really do hope and pray that this video has helped you today. If you have some that you would like to share, drop them below in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, my name is Dae'l Pasco. Remember, there's nothing mediocre about you. So when God sends you to a room, make sure you step in there like you know you're supposed to be there. I love you, and I will talk to y'all later.